What if the real reason you're not making the money you want has nothing to do with hard work, talent, or luck, but an invisible law silently shaping every financial outcome in your life? What if this unseen force has been operating all along, whether you knew it or not? Consider the life of Ray Kroc, a man who spent decades selling paper cups, piano benches, and milkshake mixers before he ever discovered the small hamburger stand that would one day reshape global business. For most of his life, nothing appeared remarkable. No great fortune, no sudden breakthrough, no obvious signs of success. Yet the invisible law was already at work within him. He carried a vision long before the world could see it, and he held a mindset that refused to let circumstances dictate his future. When he saw the McDonald brothers operation, others saw a tiny restaurant. Kroc saw a system, an idea, capable of expanding across a continent. That is how the invisible law works. It responds not to what you have today, but to what you see, what you believe, and what you persist with. His fortune didn't come from luck or timing. It came from aligning his thoughts, decisions, and actions with a clear picture of what could be. The law rewarded the clarity of his vision and the persistence behind it. Ray Kroc is a reminder that money follows the mind that knows where it's going. The invisible law doesn't ask where you start. It only asks how far you're willing to think, and how steadily you're willing to move toward that thought. Your income is not determined by where you were born, what you currently earn, or the conditions you find yourself in. It is determined quietly, powerfully, and unfailingly by the patterns of thought you permit to dominate your mind. This is the invisible law at work, the truth that money is a reflection, not a cause. Most people look at their present circumstances and assume those circumstances decide their future. They think income is fixed, limited, or dependent on external forces. But the individual who understands the true nature of wealth knows that circumstances are only the residue of old thinking, never the architect of what is to come. The mind is the starting point of all financial change. It sets the boundaries of what you believe is possible. It determines how you react to opportunities, whether you recognize them at all, and whether you have the courage to reach out and claim them. When a person believes that money is scarce, they behave in ways that ensure scarcity. When they believe that opportunities are abundant, they begin to see possibilities that were invisible a moment before. The world hasn't changed, they have changed, and the world merely reflects it back to them. Your income rises only when you rise first. A person who sees themselves as limited will unconsciously reject anything that contradicts that belief. But the person who cultivates a wealthy mindset, one grounded in creativity, value, discipline, and service, begins to attract higher forms of responsibility, better associations, and greater rewards. It is not magic. It is not luck. It is the law responding to the state of their thinking. Everything begins as a thought, and every thought quietly shapes behavior. Over time, that behavior becomes a financial result. If you truly want to transform your economic life, start where all progress begins, with the mind. Study ideas that elevate your vision. Replace thoughts of limitation with thoughts of possibility. Surround yourself with people who encourage growth rather than reinforce fear. Act as though you are capable of creating far more value than you currently do, and soon you will find yourself living in harmony with that thought. The invisible law cannot bring you something your mind has rejected. It can only return what you consistently impress upon it. Your income is a measure, not of your effort alone, but of the clarity, quality, and discipline of your thinking. Think on a higher level, and your actions will rise to meet that level. Act consistently on those elevated thoughts, and your financial world must change as a result. The law has no favorites. It simply reflects the inner life you cultivate. When your thinking expands, your income has no choice but to follow. We often hear people say they want more money, yet they spend almost no time developing the one place where money is first created, the mind. The world teaches us to search outside ourselves for wealth, a better job, a new opportunity, a lucky break. But the truth, the invisible truth, is that the mind is the first factory of all prosperity. Every invention, every business, every fortune that has ever existed began not in a bank account, but in the quiet workshop of someone's imagination. Long before money appears in your hands, it appears in your thoughts. The mind is the birthplace of ideas, and ideas are the true currency of wealth. A person who trains their mind to think creatively, purposefully, and boldly is like a farmer enriching the soil before planting seeds. Others may focus on the harvest, But the wise individual focuses on the ground from which the harvest grows. When you learn to cultivate an inner environment rich in discipline, curiosity, and possibility, you prepare yourself for opportunities that most people overlook. The average person waits for inspiration. The successful person creates it through deliberate thought. A powerful idea held with clarity is far more valuable than a lifetime of unfocused effort. A person may work tirelessly, yet without direction their energy scatters. But when the mind becomes centered on a definite aim, the individual moves with a new kind of force. They begin to notice paths, connections, and resources they had never seen before. Nothing around them changed, yet everything changed. This is the invisible law in motion, the law that aligns the outer world with the inner one. When a person thinks intentionally, purposefully, and persistently, the world slowly bends itself to match that thought. It is no coincidence that those who achieve lasting wealth are seldom the ones who began with the greatest advantages. More often, they are the ones who learn to use their minds as instruments of creation. They understand that thoughts lead to decisions, and decisions lead to actions, and actions determine results. The quality of the result can never exceed the quality of the thought that produced it. So they guard their minds with care. They choose what to study, what to absorb, and what to believe. They understand that whatever they allow into the mind eventually makes its way into their lives. If you wish to build wealth, begin by building a mind capable of producing it. Feed it with ideas that challenge you. Expose it to people who expand you. Train it to think deeply, not just react quickly. Use it as an engine, not a storage room. When your mind becomes rich in ideas, rich in discipline, rich in vision, your life cannot remain poor. Wealth must follow, for the invisible law never fails. Every financial result begins as an unseen thought long before it becomes visible. Your self-image is the quiet architect of your financial destiny. Long before anyone else decides what you are capable of earning, you decide it in the privacy of your own mind. Most people never realize this. They believe their income is controlled by the economy, their job title, or the opinions of others. But the invisible law works from the inside outward. You can never attract opportunities, relationships, or rewards that do not match the picture you hold of yourself. Life simply refuses to exceed the limits you set within. If a person sees themselves as average, they act in average ways. They accept average opportunities, speak average words, and allow average results. Not because they lack talent, but because their inner picture quietly guides every decision they make. It shapes their confidence, their courage, and even the boundaries of what they believe is possible. And so they continue to receive exactly what that image allows. But when a person lifts their self-image, when they decide to see themselves as capable, deserving, and valuable, the world begins to respond in extraordinary ways. New ideas come, different people appear, conversations change, and opportunities that once seemed beyond reach suddenly begin to open. This is not magic, it is simply the law responding to the one thing it always obeys, the individual's belief about who they are. Wealth does not come first, worthiness comes first. The person who believes they can negotiate higher pay, build a business, or create something valuable will behave in ways that align with that belief. They speak with more certainty. They move with more purpose. They persist longer, take bolder steps, and refuse to accept less than what feels aligned with their inner picture. The world sees this confidence and responds to it, often without realizing why. Your self-image is the thermostat of your income. You can temporarily earn more than you believe you deserve, but soon you will bring your life back to the level of your inner picture. And you can temporarily earn less, but if your self-image is high, you will not stay there for long. You will rise again, because your mind refuses to live beneath the standard it has accepted as true. If you wish to increase your income, raise your self-image first. See yourself as someone who provides exceptional value. See yourself as someone worthy of abundance. See yourself as someone capable of achieving far more than the world currently recognizes. Protect this image. Restore it daily. Strengthen it with action. Every improvement in your financial life will be built upon this invisible foundation. The moment you upgrade the picture you hold of yourself, you upgrade the possibilities life brings to your door. The invisible law is simple. You do not earn according to your potential. You earn according to your self-image. Raise that image, and everything else must rise with it. Money is not a mystery, nor is it an accident. It is a mirror, reflecting back to us the value we bring to the marketplace. Many people spend their lives chasing money, yet very few stop long enough to understand what money truly is: a reward for service rendered, a symbol of usefulness, a measurement of the contribution we make to the lives of others. The invisible law for making money is simple and unwavering. You earn in proportion to the value you create, not in proportion to your needs, your hopes, or your effort alone, only in proportion to your value. A person may work tirelessly, but if the service they provide is common, replaceable, or performed without excellence, the returns will be equally ordinary. On the other hand, individuals who decide to deliver more than what is expected, who bring thought, imagination, and care into what they do, discover that money begins to seek them out rather than the other way around. The world pays for value, and value is something you build deliberately, skill by skill, habit by habit, and day by day. This principle explains why two people can work the same number of hours and receive entirely different rewards. One contributes only labor, something many can offer. The other contributes insight, creativity, leadership, vision, things few people take the time to cultivate. The first thinks of work as a burden. The second sees it as a stage upon which to express excellence. And because the value is different, the earnings are different. The law never fails. You cannot escape this truth, and you cannot shortcut it. But here lies the beauty: you can elevate your value at any moment. You can study an hour a day and become better informed than 99% of your field. You can refine your communication, develop a craft, solve bigger problems, or bring a warmer attitude to everything you touch. Each improvement increases your value, and as your value rises, so does your income, sometimes gradually, sometimes suddenly, but always inevitably. Nothing in life changes until you change, and nothing in your financial life grows until you grow first. People often ask, how can I make more money? The real question is, how can I become more valuable? For when you focus on increasing your value, money becomes a natural byproduct, not a pursuit. It begins to flow where it once trickled. You attract better opportunities, higher trust, stronger partnerships, and greater responsibility. Remember this: no one is paid for what they know, they are paid for what they contribute. The invisible law does not care about potential, it rewards output, impact, and service. If you make yourself indispensable, if you consistently bring more than what is asked, if you work on yourself more than you work on your job, the world will not be able to overlook you for long. The invisible law stands firm: increase your value, and life must increase your reward. Success and wealth do not arrive in sudden bursts or by random chance. They are the result of consistent, deliberate action applied over time. The invisible law for making money rewards those who move steadily in one clear direction, not those who drift from one idea to another, chasing every passing trend. Momentum is created when a person commits to a definite aim and works on it day after day, little by little, refusing to let setbacks or distractions break their stride. This is the principle that separates the financially ordinary from the financially extraordinary. Many people misunderstand the nature of wealth. They expect a single stroke of genius, a lucky break, or an unexpected windfall to change their lives. Yet the law is far more faithful and precise than luck ever could be. Wealth grows like a tree. It begins with planting a seed, then nurturing it with water, sunlight, and care. Each small effort adds up, compounding silently until one day the tree bears fruit beyond expectation. The person who understands this law does not grow impatient. They know that steady progress, sometimes invisible, often unnoticed, is the only path to lasting success. Consistency also creates trust, both in the eyes of others and within yourself. A person who shows up every day, works on their craft, refines their skill, and honors their commitments demonstrates reliability. Opportunities begin to align around them because the world senses their persistence. People want to do business with those who deliver, those who persist, and those who refuse to quit. The invisible law responds not only to talent but to persistence, the quiet, unwavering devotion to moving forward, no matter the obstacles. Every failure, every misstep, every disappointment becomes smaller when met with consistent action. One of the secrets of the wealthy is that they keep moving, even when progress seems invisible. They understand that the small steps, repeated without fail, accumulate like interest on a savings account. Time becomes an ally, not an enemy. While others stop, procrastinate, or chase the next bright idea, the consistent individual moves steadily forward, and the law of compounding rewards their discipline with results that multiply. Consistency also shapes character. The person who shows up day after day becomes resilient, patient, and disciplined. They learn to focus their energy, avoid distractions, and persevere through temporary difficulties. These traits, invisible at first, become the very foundation of their wealth. The invisible law cannot be fooled. It does not respond to flashes of enthusiasm or occasional effort. It responds to persistence, clarity, and dedication applied over time. If you want to unlock the flow of money into your life, the single most powerful step you can take is to act consistently in one clear direction. Decide what you want, focus your efforts, and keep moving, no matter what. Small, disciplined actions, taken repeatedly over months and years, create a momentum so powerful that the invisible law cannot help but deliver. Wealth favors the steady, the disciplined, and the persistent. Momentum, once built, becomes unstoppable. Belief is the invisible engine that drives every financial outcome in your life. It is not the economy, luck, or even talent that ultimately determines your income. It is the depth and quality of the beliefs you hold about yourself, your abilities, and the possibilities before you. The invisible law for making money responds to thought, not circumstance. If you believe that wealth is beyond your reach, that opportunities are scarce, or that success belongs to someone else, the world will faithfully reflect those beliefs back to you. Conversely, the person who truly believes in their capacity to create value will find the doors of opportunity opening where others see only walls. Most people underestimate the power of belief because it is invisible. They chase skills, strategies, and shortcuts, hoping for a sudden transformation while ignoring the single most potent force in their lives. The beliefs that shape every decision, every effort, every reaction. Belief is the lens through which we interpret experience. It determines which opportunities we recognize, which risks we are willing to take, and which ideas we choose to act upon. If your beliefs are small, your actions will be small. If your beliefs are bold, your actions will rise to meet them, and results will follow inevitably. Consider the connection between belief and persistence. A person who truly believes that success is possible will continue moving forward, even when circumstances appear difficult or discouraging. They see setbacks not as proof of limitation, but as temporary obstacles to be overcome. The invisible law is always in effect. It rewards belief with results, but only when that belief is paired with action. Faith alone will not create wealth, but belief without action rarely falters, because it naturally inspires consistent, purposeful behavior. Belief also shapes the expectations we hold for ourselves and for life. Those who believe they deserve abundance act with confidence, attract opportunities, and make decisions aligned with long-term prosperity. They speak and think in ways that reinforce their vision, building a self-fulfilling cycle where thought, action, and outcome are aligned. On the other hand, those who doubt themselves unconsciously limit their potential. They may work hard, but their efforts are diffused by hesitation, fear, and uncertainty. The world simply mirrors back what they believe to be true. The invisible law does not negotiate. It does not compromise. It returns to you exactly what your inner mind has embraced. If you wish to earn more, achieve more, or contribute more, the first task is to examine the beliefs that govern your thinking. Replace limiting beliefs with expansive, empowering ones. Feed your mind with examples of success, study ideas that inspire, and immerse yourself in thoughts of possibility rather than scarcity. Over time, these beliefs will transform your actions, your decisions, and your income. Remember this: you cannot out-earn your beliefs. Money follows thought. Opportunities respond to expectation. The invisible law responds to what you believe is possible. Strengthen your belief, and you will naturally align yourself with the results you desire. Belief is not a wish, it is a command to the universe. Think it, feel it, act upon it, and the law will honor it faithfully. Purpose is the guiding force behind every achievement, the silent compass that directs thought, action, and ultimately, wealth. Without purpose, life drifts aimlessly, and effort dissipates into insignificance. The invisible law for making money responds not to random activity, but to focused, deliberate action anchored in a clear sense of purpose. When a person knows exactly what they want and why they want it, the world begins to arrange itself to support that vision, often in ways that seem miraculous, but are simply the law at work. Most people live without a definite purpose. They react to circumstances, follow trends, and allow external events to dictate their direction. Their work is fragmented, their goals hazy, and their results unpredictable. Wealth rarely finds such individuals because the invisible law cannot reward aimlessness. Money is not attracted to business. It is attracted to clarity. The individual with purpose moves with intention, and every step they take aligns with the law that governs success. Purpose creates a magnetic field that draws resources, opportunities, and people toward it. A definite purpose acts as a filter for decisions. When you are clear about what you want, you automatically say yes to what matters and no to distractions. Your actions become precise, efficient, and powerful. This focus multiplies the impact of every hour, every effort, and every skill you apply. Compare this to the life of a person without purpose. Their energy is scattered, their actions inconsistent, and their results weak. The invisible law cannot produce wealth from inconsistency. It requires that your mind, energy, and actions converge on a single, well-defined aim. Purpose also fuels persistence. Obstacles are inevitable on the road to financial success, but those guided by a definite aim do not quit when they encounter difficulty. They see challenges as part of the process, temporary hurdles that test and strengthen their commitment. Their purpose keeps them moving when others would surrender. It transforms failure into feedback, mistakes into lessons, and delays into opportunities to refine strategy. The invisible law rewards persistence in alignment with purpose. It punishes drift and indecision. Every great fortune begins with a clear picture of what is to be achieved. Whether in business, art, invention, or leadership, individuals who achieve extraordinary wealth do so because they know where they are going. They do not rely on chance. They rely on the focused power of their mind, directed by purpose. Money follows purpose, not effort alone. Work without direction produces little, but work guided by a definite aim attracts resources, talent, and opportunities, all responding to the clarity and intensity of the vision. If you desire financial abundance, start with your mind. Define your purpose with precision. Write it down, visualize it, and let it guide every decision. The invisible law responds to purpose with unerring fidelity. The more definite your aim, the more effectively the universe or life, as it responds to natural law, aligns itself to deliver results. Purpose transforms thought into action, action into results, and results into wealth. Without it, even the most capable individual drifts. With it, even modest effort gains the power to create extraordinary success. Your environment is more than a backdrop to your life. It is a silent partner in the creation of your success. The people you associate with, the information you consume, and the conditions you surround yourself with either amplify your potential or quietly limit it. The invisible law for making money operates not just on talent, effort, or ideas, but on the resonance between your inner world and your surroundings. If you surround yourself with doubt, negativity, or complacency, your own thoughts will echo those limitations. If you immerse yourself in growth, excellence, and opportunity, your mind and actions will align with abundance. Most people underestimate the influence of their environment because it works invisibly. We think we are acting independently, but in truth, our habits, decisions, and attitudes are subtly guided by those around us. Wealthy, successful individuals do not simply stumble into fortune. They consciously choose associations that elevate them. They read books that expand their thinking, converse with people who challenge their assumptions, and position themselves where opportunity is visible. The invisible law rewards this intentional alignment. Money flows where energy, focus, and environment converge. The law works in patterns. If you spend time with those who complain, procrastinate, or fear risk, your mind will absorb those same limitations, even if unconsciously. Your actions will slow, your vision will shrink, and your opportunities will pass unnoticed. Conversely, when you seek the company of ambitious, disciplined, and creative individuals, your mind begins to operate on a higher frequency. Ideas multiply, motivation strengthens, and the invisible law starts to reflect your elevated state in tangible rewards. Your environment, in essence, becomes a mirror of what you allow and encourage in your life. Environment is also about what you feed your mind. The media you consume, the books you read, and the knowledge you acquire are all components of the world you inhabit. If your mind is filled with scarcity, fear, or excuses, your financial results will reflect that. But if your mind is nourished with ideas of possibility, strategies for growth, and stories of those who have succeeded, your actions will inevitably shift. The invisible law does not respond to wishful thinking. It responds to the alignment of thought, action, and circumstance. By shaping your environment, you shape your thinking, which in turn shapes your results. The power of environment extends to the habits and routines you cultivate. Wealthy people structure their days, their networks, and their spaces to support focus, creativity, and disciplined action. The invisible law rewards those who create conditions where productive thought and action can flourish. It does not reward chaos, distraction, or inconsistency. By consciously selecting your surroundings and associations, you direct the law to serve your goals rather than hinder them. If you desire financial abundance, examine your environment. Remove influences that hold you back. Surround yourself with ideas, people, and conditions that elevate your mind. The invisible law responds not to desire alone, but to the consistent alignment between your inner self and the outer world. The more carefully you craft your environment, the more faithfully it will reflect back to you the wealth, opportunity, and success that your mind is capable of creating. Every meaningful increase in wealth requires stepping beyond the familiar, beyond comfort, beyond the boundaries most people never dare to cross. Risk is not something to fear. It is the doorway through which opportunity and abundance enter. The invisible law for making money does not reward caution alone. It rewards calculated, intelligent action taken in alignment with purpose, knowledge, and preparation. Those who avoid all risk may preserve what they have, but they will never achieve the extraordinary. Money, like life itself, flows to those willing to stretch, to venture, and to act when others hesitate. Most people are conditioned to avoid risk, equating it with danger or failure. They focus on security, routine, and the illusion of safety, hoping that wealth will arrive without challenge. Yet the law of financial success operates on a different principle. Reward is proportional to the courage to act. The person who takes no risk earns only what is guaranteed, which is rarely sufficient for real prosperity. But the individual who steps forward, prepared and deliberate, opens the door to opportunities that cannot be reached from a place of comfort. Risk, properly understood, is not gambling. It is the bridge between thought and reality, between vision and manifestation. Risk also tests belief and commitment. To act when the outcome is uncertain requires confidence in oneself, faith in one's preparation, and trust in the invisible law itself. Every successful entrepreneur, investor, or innovator demonstrates this principle. They move forward when others hesitate, not recklessly, but with calculated intent. They understand that temporary failure is not final, that setbacks are lessons, and that the law responds to persistence as much as to brilliance. Risk, then, is not something to be avoided. It is a signal that one is operating on the edge of potential, where growth occurs. Taking risk also develops skills, resilience, and discernment. A person who ventures into the unknown learns to make better decisions, recognize patterns, and anticipate challenges. The invisible law rewards this accumulation of wisdom because it increases the individual's capacity to create value. As value grows, so do financial returns. Those who shy away from risk may preserve comfort, but they miss the exponential growth that comes from boldly applied knowledge and action. Every reward, in business or life, carries with it an element of risk. To achieve more, one must learn to navigate it wisely. If you wish to make more money, embrace the principle of risk as a friend, not an enemy. Educate yourself, plan carefully, and act decisively in areas where others fear to step. Each calculated risk is an invitation to the invisible law to reward your courage with results. Avoiding risk guarantees stagnation. Taking it intelligently generates progress. Wealth is never given. It is earned by those who act, persist, and venture beyond the boundaries of the familiar. The doorway to abundance stands open, but it only responds to the foot that dares to cross its threshold. Action is the bridge between thought and reality. Dreams, ideas, and visions alone cannot generate wealth. They are merely the blueprint. The invisible law for making money responds not to desire or intention alone, but to decisive action anchored in clarity of vision. You may know exactly what you want, imagine it in vivid detail, and prepare endlessly, but until you act, the law remains dormant. Money, opportunity, and success are not gifts to the idle, they are rewards to those who translate thought into purposeful, consistent effort. Many people fail because they confuse planning with progress. They spend years thinking, reading, and preparing, yet never take the steps required to convert their knowledge into results. Action transforms potential into reality. Without it, even the most brilliant ideas remain invisible, untested, and unrewarded. The law of success is impartial. It does not respond to excuses, hesitation, or waiting for perfect conditions. It responds only to action that is clear, deliberate, and persistent. The quality of action matters as much as the quantity. Random, unfocused activity produces little. Deliberate action aligned with a defined goal produces compounding results. The individual who moves in harmony with a clear picture of what they intend to achieve activates the law in their favor. Every step, no matter how small, builds momentum. Consistent action signals to the universe, or the invisible law, that you are serious, committed, and worthy of results. Opportunities begin to appear, connections form, and resources flow to support your effort. Action is not merely physical, it includes the mental and emotional energy devoted to moving toward a definite aim. Action also clarifies vision. Often, we cannot fully see the path to our goals until we begin walking it. Each step reveals obstacles, teaches lessons, and uncovers possibilities that no amount of thought alone could reveal. Those who hesitate indefinitely fail to learn, adapt, or grow. The law of money does not reward perfection, it rewards progress. Action, therefore, is both the trigger and the teacher, shaping not only external results but the internal capacity to handle greater responsibility and opportunity. To align yourself with the invisible law, combine vision with action. Be clear about what you want, develop a plan, and then take consistent steps, no matter how imperfect, toward that goal. Refine as you go, but never stop moving. Action attracts opportunity. Action builds confidence. Action transforms thought into wealth. Without it, even the most compelling ideas remain invisible, and the law remains silent. The world responds to those who act, not to those who merely dream. Remember, the invisible law rewards action anchored in vision. Money does not chase thought alone. It follows thought expressed through consistent, purposeful action. The individual who sees, believes, and acts becomes unstoppable. Step forward, commit fully, and allow the law to mirror your clarity, courage, and persistence with the financial rewards you have imagined. Action is the key that unlocks the door to abundance. In the end, the invisible law for making money is simple, yet profoundly powerful. Your financial results are never random. They are a reflection of your thoughts, beliefs, purpose, and actions. Wealth begins in the mind, grows with clarity, courage, and persistence, and is drawn toward those who create value, embrace risk, and act consistently. Life responds not to wishful thinking, talent alone, or luck, but to the disciplined application of thought turned into action. Your income, your opportunities, and your successes are mirrors of the inner picture you hold of yourself. Raise that picture. Strengthen your purpose. Surround yourself with the right environment. Take intelligent risks, and act boldly and consistently in alignment with your vision. The invisible law does not favor the passive or the uncertain. It rewards those who think clearly, believe deeply, and act decisively. Remember, money is not the goal, it is the natural byproduct of creating value in the world. When your thoughts, beliefs, and actions are aligned, the law responds unfailingly. Wealth is not a matter of chance, it is a matter of law, and that law is always working, whether you understand it or not. Your task is simple: know what you want, cultivate the mind to deserve it, and take the steps that bring it into reality. The law is patient, faithful, and honoring. Think, believe, act, and watch the invisible law bring your vision to life.